Dear listeners, we apologize for the technical difficulties you will encounter in this episode. Internet reaction time is sometimes slow. Thanks.
Welcome in, everyone, to Barely Educated Super Bowl episode. And actually, despite being a Bears fan, there's quite a bit to talk about Super Bowl week, which is needless to say, not the actual game, though we will get there. First, though, I will ask, even knowing the answer, Chris, how are you?
Doing good. It's a nice Friday. We got some good news from the Hall of Fame, and and
Exactly.
big thing at home too. We got to kick another kid out of the nest. So we have 2 out and 2 to go.
Oh man, gone.
Yeah,
huh?
so
Nice.
that's exciting.
Yeah. So
for
yeah,
him,
it's
so.
it's a good day around here too. We do need to talk Hall of Fame. I think that's the lead as Bears fans and as a Bears pod. I know we both love the NFL. We'll get to the game. We'll get to the lessons for the Bears and all that. But yeah, it's been a good day. I got a lot done on the book this morning.
Nice.
Came back and entertained the puppy, which never actually works fully because now she's back at the door whining with the ball in her mouth. But, she'll get over it. Oh, we're heading to the couch. Okay, we're calming down. Excellent.
All right. Yes.
But and then we got my kids' whole meeting over the gifted thing because she aced the math last year on the achievement test. It's kind of crazy. She didn't miss one. You're supposed to have questions for the next year or something. I don't know. I'll learn more about it soon, I guess. I don't know if I even care if she's gifted. That's great, but I hate the term. Am I crazy, or is it because what happens if you're not gifted?
Right. Yeah.
No, everyone's gifted. I wish we had a different term, but I don't know what they should call it, but it's kind of weird to me. And I say all that to say I haven't been paying that much attention to Radio Row because I kind of find the whole thing obnoxious.
Same.
But then this year, news broke that was absolutely worth it. Take me through the Meatball Composer's reaction to finding out that Mongo, Hester, and to a lesser extent, also still a great Bear, but for only a few years, Julius Peppers. Take me through your reaction to them making the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Hester was like, okay, that's about time, I guess I understand not putting him in his first year because kick returner is so specialized, and there's debate, should someone a player like that make it? But anyway, thrilled that he made it. I was surprisingly affected by McMichael more than I thought I would. Kind of knew it was coming. There'd been a push since his health has been failing, and really, when you look at the numbers of when he played, it's dang, these are actually really good. When he retired, he was the all-time leader in quarterback sacks for a defensive tackle. That's huge. How did that go under the radar?
There's the historian we love, the Bears historian.
Yeah. But I don't know if it's a combination of he was, one of the greats when I started watching and it was on the Super Bowl team, combined with his failing health now or what. But I was more emotionally affected by McMichael than Hester, which really surprised me because I thought I've known Hester was deserving for a long time, and McMichael, I just kind of forgot just how good he really was when he was playing. So, and like you said, Peppers,
a whole generation of fans, right?
Yeah, right. And with Peppers,
they don't even know cool. How good he was because he's not in the Hall of Fame and he's not been a part of the conversation. And I think even younger fans, they know Hester, but Mongo really deserves the spotlight. And I do think I'm not saying he got in for this, but there's a sentimental part to everybody being so thrilled for him. Again, I'm not taking away, that's not why he deserves to be in.
Sure.
But it is great that the timing didn't go any longer.
Yeah, right.
With his health and everything else. And it was cool seeing the former teammates and family around him when the news broke and that clip making the rounds. I mean, really, really special moment for Mongo. Big moment for Buddy Bryan as well, as he had the photo that he shared in the group text with the bunny ears at the golf outing, giving bunny ears to Mongo McMichael. Well, okay, now I'm going to need a power ranking.
That's a health risk
of current and former NFL players that you should absolutely not give bunny ears to in a photo. Mongo's got to be in the top 5, right? We'll
I
put
would
former
think
student
so.
Tim and Buddy Bryant on that. We'll have a ranking next week or 2 weeks.
Yes.
Former student Tim.
Get on
Yeah,
it, guys.
because
Yes.
I mean, yeah, guys, get on it. That's a risky business, but yeah, good for Mongo
Yeah.
and for Hester. I think it's like it shouldn't have been this difficult on a certain level, right? Like if you're the best to ever do it at a particular position, stands to reason you should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
I don't even if it's a long snapper. I mean, there's still positions. I get that it may not be first ballot. That's like got some value that
Right.
people still hold to, and it's not as impactful as a receiver because he's not on the field making as many plays in a snap to snap basis. I get that. But still, if you're the best ever, I mean, I think at some point the NFL Hall of Fame shouldn't penalize guys based on the position they played quite as much.
Yeah.
I think it does a better job overall than the Baseball Hall of Fame, which basically has a full-on identity crisis
Yeah.
thanks to the steroid era. But I
Yeah.
still would like to see the Football Hall of Fame consider impact and changing the way the game is played, i.e., Peanut Tillman and Hester,
Right.
and not just counting stats.
Yeah, they literally changed kickoff rules because of Devin Hester, and kickoffs may be gone. I heard a discussion on the score yesterday about this. Like maybe in 5, 10
Yep.
years there aren't even kickoffs anymore. There are only punts. So to be part of the reason, or maybe the big reason to eliminate a portion of the game because of how good you were, I mean that's incredible. So thrilled for him. Thrilled for Devin
And
Hester.
I think the Hall of Fame needs to take seriously the two like prerogatives that it has, right? And the two commissions that it has. One is obviously the greatness, like the absolute best players. Sure, we all know that. But the other thing that it does that doesn't get in the conversation much is it is the history museum of the sport par excellence,
Right.
right? Like this is the history. More people are going to consume it there than anywhere else.
Yeah.
And I do think as a fan, I mean, it's not like changing lives here, but as a fan, it matters that someone like Hester is in, especially if the kickoff is eventually a bygone relic.
Right.
It's cool for fans and the younger generation and other people that are coming in our wake to be able to be like, so that's what elite kickoff returning was, huh? Wait, we should get
Mhm.
that back. Like it would be a shame for that to just be out of the history, out of the sport as a whole. And I'm glad that at least it's memorialized some at the Hall of Fame. I think it needs to take that aspect seriously, and even if it doesn't have to necessarily have a bunch of players representing that, to have nothing on it, I think is kind of weird. And so I'm glad for bigger picture reasons too.
Yeah, that's a good
And then
thought.
Peppers was a freak. He probably is more associated with the Panthers. Fine.
Yeah,
Me and
yeah,
the Panthers, we're good. I'm tight. Me and the Panthers are good buddies.
yes. These days,
And
yes.
so yeah. And then I guess we could touch on the awards real quick too, since it kind of all goes together in the flow of the week.
Yeah,
What do you think of the individual season award recipients?
uh, we could talk a lot about MVP. I think because yes, Lamar was probably the most deserving, but wasn't it kind of like a? Well, I guess Lamar should get it again. I mean, that seemed to me to be the feel of there
It's
wasn't
like
really.
you won a lot.
Yeah, but he's got two MVPs now, and I don't think he's a Hall of Famer yet. Is that? You think that's fair
He's
to
the
say that?
first person, I think. He's the youngest person to ever have two MVPs.
There are. I
He
I just
he
saw this
must
this
barely
morning.
just eke out Mahomes for that.
There are. I think there are three that got their second one before 28. Mahomes, Favre, and
He's by
I,
months the youngest.
yeah, and I can't remember who the next one was. So yeah, I mean that's great
It's
that he's
him.
got.
It's Jackson, Mahomes, and Favre.
Oh, it's those three. Okay, all right.
You suck, Chris.
I know, but and that's great. That's
Yeah.
wonderful for him. But when I think about him as a player, I don't know. He's not like a top tier quarterback. You know what I mean? Like incredible athlete, incredible football player. But as a quarterback, I don't know. I'm torn. Am I crazy? Am I crazy?
I'm fine with him. No, I mean, Okay, so I'll just give you my stance. I'm fine
Yeah.
with him winning the MVP. I thought
Yes.
him winning
Yes.
it unanimously was almost unanimously was kind of crazy. I think it was very circumstantial.
Mm,
Mahomes did not have quite the normal Mahomes year by the numbers, even though he's the MVP every year.
right. True.
He's
True.
getting Jordaned.
He is my. Yeah. Right.
And then Dak, I thought, had the best individual statistical season cumulatively when you look at all the numbers at the position that always wins the MVP. Followed, oddly enough, by Brock Purdy, who everybody loves to hate on both of those players. And they have
Mm,
a lot of talent around them. Fine. Lamar had to do more with less. Okay. Check his box. Had the most wins. Check that box for him too, which is why he's fine as the MVP. You had Burrow hurt, Mahomes down year mostly because his receivers stunk until Rice came on at the end of
right.
the year,
Hmm.
and then you had Allen turning it over too much. So
Yes.
I think it's essentially MVP, not quite by default. That's not fair enough to Lamar, but the big candidates yearly weren't quite there, and so he's deserving in that context. But
That's well said. Yeah.
49 out of the 51st place votes is kind of wild.
That is. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Uh,
there's that. I thought Myles Garrett was the MVP through like 10 weeks or Defensive Player of the Year and then fell off a cliff, but he still won the award.
yeah.
He didn't do anything down the stretch. JJ had more sacks, or sorry, TJ Watt had more
Right.
sacks.
Yeah. Hmm.
Micah Parsons gets you on all the more advanced stats like pass rush, win rate, and stuff like that. And
He's a
then
monster.
one of those guys probably should have got it, and then they just went with Garrett, even though he tailed off. And I think the lesson there is the season start still dominates some of these discussions
Mm.
because the numbers are eye-popping, and then as it all kind of evens out over a bigger sample, it doesn't stand out as much, but it's already in the brain. But I don't
Yeah.
think he deserved it, good as he is.
I thought maybe
Coach of the
the
year was absolutely Stefanski.
yes. Yeah. I thought the defensive the cornerback on the Cowboys who set the pick six record might get some strong push for defensive player of the year, but
Mm.
yeah, I guess not. So, and then offensive
Is
was
that award turning into the pass rush award?
yeah, maybe I like McCaffrey for offensive player of the year. Maybe should have gotten some MVP consideration.
The Browns get 3 awards and bounced in the first round. That's kind of funny. I
That's
like
quite
Flacco getting
unfortunate.
it.
Hmm.
I know DeMar Hamlin, and like it sounds like I'm like some terrible person, but he didn't play much.
Yeah, right.
Like
True.
Flacco had a bigger impact on the season. DeMar Hamlin's story is incredible, and like hopefully we never have anything like that again. But I can totally see why they gave it to Flacco. And he could
Yeah.
go either way there.
Hmm. And he was really good. Flacco was really good, especially the last half of the season.
Yeah, he threw 400 yards a couple times, I think, or close.
Would have had the best Bears
He's on a
quarterback
heater.
season ever.
Jeez. Bears.
The Bears.
All right. Chiefs, Niners, and then lessons for the Bears. Who you
Okay.
got Sunday and why?
Oh man, I think I gotta. I think I'm going with the Chiefs. I think it'll be a close game. I think it might be like the 49ers lead most of the game, but then the Chiefs come back to win, kind of like what they did last year against Philly. I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. In the one Super Bowl he lost, he was hurt. He was running for his life, and his receivers were dropping passes like crazy. So I I think the Chiefs are
He
going
still
to win a
played
close one.
amazing.
Right. Yes. So I think the Chiefs win a close one.
Yeah, I do. I think it's the Chiefs too. I think I picked the Niners at the start of the season. I know I had them playing the Bengals. I can't remember who I said was going to win that game. Of course, Bengals got derailed by injury. And then I picked the Chiefs Niners at the start of the playoffs because I was like, nah, not picking against Mahomes. Forget it. That's still what I'm doing.
I
Because at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes doesn't lose these games very often. And yeah, he might. The Niners have a better overall roster, but I think
yeah.
Mahomes makes it not matter.
Correct. I
I also
100%
think the
agree.
Chiefs defense is the best defense the Niners have played in the playoffs, and the Niners haven't really looked great. It's kind of weird that they're here without looking great.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs also can run the ball, which the Lions ran all over the Niners until they had to get away from it. If the Niners win, they're going to have to show that they can stop the run right away because you can't beat the Chiefs if they can do both. And then Mahomes can still beat you anyway, but you're absolutely not beating them with the run D that we've seen the last 2 weeks.
Right. And if the Chiefs can stop the run, force the 49ers to throw it, that's probably their best chance to slowing down the 49ers, because McCaffrey is really what drives that whole offense. So if you can put him down, or not put him down,
What?
slow him down. That's what I meant. Slow him down. Don't put him
Whoa.
down.
Hey, I didn't get the
So
MVP. Time to put him down. That's
yeah,
severe.
congratulations. Here, we're gonna put you down. So yeah, that's what yeah. So I think the Chiefs are gonna win. They'll be close. I think maybe like a 3-4 point game, but yeah, going Chiefs.
I hope it's close. I could see the Chiefs pulling away and kind of winning comfortably. I mean, I can see the Niners winning if things go a certain way, but they have to prove that they're like the team from October, not the team the last 2 weeks. And I feel like that's a tall task against the Chiefs. And the Chiefs defense is really good.
Yes.
So I just, I think too many things favor the Chiefs here. And when in doubt, don't pick against Pat Mahomes in the playoffs.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Which brings me to the Bears.
Bears.
The Bears.
The lesson for the Bears here is obvious. Some of you guys are going to be mad at me for this. When you have a chance at getting the guy or one of the few the guys in the league at that position, keep swinging. Because if you try the Niners thing, you still get beat by the QB. Last year it was Hurts, and they had no QB on the Niners roster. If you have a good but not amazing quarterback, you still get beat by the amazing quarterback. If you want a Super Bowl window for a long time, you have to have an absolute stud at that position now in this league. And I know the Niners have come back after a few years off. Yeah. The way they're doing it is more difficult, if essentially. Most teams don't get a chance at getting that QB. You do have a chance at a guy that has that kind of potential. Scouts comp him to people like Mahomes. He has that kind of upside. Did you see the story where the scout was asked what the difference was between Mahomes and Williams coming out of college? And he said they're the same, except for Williams has a stronger arm. And it's like, whoa, that's crazy.
Wow.
But coming out of college, there were questions about Mahomes, right? And he's become absurd. But you go from Manning and Brady to Mahomes in the blink of an eye in this league.
Yeah.
And those are all your Super Bowls. Obviously, a big chunk of them. I will keep taking that shot at that guy until I have it, because I don't care about 10-win seasons. I care about Super Bowls. The only thing I care about a 10-win season is if it's on the trajectory to Super Bowl contention. So would the Bears win more games next year with Justin? Maybe. But would they win more in 25, 26, 27 with him? I highly doubt it. Guys, you got to get it through our heads. He stinks at the stuff that wins games most consistently. Third down passing, fourth quarter. Oh my God, the fourth quarter stats, Chris.
Really
they're
bad.
like some of the worst ever. I hate it because I love Justin the person, but they're terrible.
Yeah. And I was shocked when I saw him. Yeah, when I actually saw the numbers.
It's 3 years of data now.
Yeah. And
even if you want to throw out the first 2 years, which is fine, he didn't take the leap this year. And you've got the chance at the quarterback that you're not going to get again. All right. Now with the lag, I'm going to just stop so you can do your thing. It's hard to tell when you're trying to talk. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with the work internet today. I'm sorry. But
that's a real shame.
There's lots of talk, of course, about, but we could get so many first-round draft picks if we traded the pick. But I'm sorry, 3 first-round draft picks are not worth what a franchise quarterback who did all those things like you said can do. Can get them to the playoffs every year like Brady and Manning and be in the mix every year. Because I'm like you. I don't want to have a team with a shot once every 5, 6, 7 years and then have to wait again until they can get the rest of the team good enough. If you want to have that team that is in the mix every year, year after year, you need the Mahomes or you need the Burrow or you need, the Brady, the Manning, even like Jalen Hurts and Tua. I don't think that's good enough either, unless you've got, tons of pieces around them. I'm with you. I've done a 180 on
and then you're going to lose some of the pieces.
Yes, right.
It's fine to do a 180 with new data. That's what we want people to do. And the data is, well, data is maybe a stretch, but But Justin didn't take the leap. He still struggles with the same thing he struggled with before. And historically, it's extremely unlikely that that changes. And you are in a unique situation with the pick. The whole conversation's different if your first pick is at 9, but it's not. That's the way it goes. What's
Yep,
Mahomes
agreed.
worth? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
What's
exactly.
80% of Mahomes worth in draft capital?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. So
I'm keeping the pick. I'm picking Williams, assuming the interviews go well.
it's gonna happen. I mean, I don't see why they're not gonna pick him. There would have to be like some major news that we haven't heard yet or something, like Deshaun Watson kind of stuff or something.
Yeah, and then like the guys in the know, beat guys and national guys are all pretty consistently saying they're picking Williams. Like Biggs, I don't think he's all that great when he tries to analyze QB play, but he's connected to the team for as long as anybody. I think he and Johns probably have the best Bears sources. All the national big names, Pelissaro, Schefter, all those guys are talking about how the Bears are probably trading Fields and keeping the pick. And so like it's hard to just say, "Ah, it's not going to happen" at that point. And we get like it's a little disingenuous to just be like, "Nope, I don't trust him on this because it's not what I want to hear." For the people who are doing that, it's like these guys get scoops left and right, and now the scoop is something you don't like, so you think they're not credible. Come on.
Yeah.
And then we should probably address the Coward thing. So you want to sum up what happened there? That was like last week, into the week.
Yeah, he said that he had heard from the Williams camp that they do not want to go. They don't want Caleb to go to the Bears, or he does not want to go to the Bears, or has reservations about it at least. And then there was huge backlash for it, led mostly by our score buddy Danny Parkins, who flipped out. Oh my gosh, that was a wee bit over
Bad
the
day of
top.
radio.
Yeah.
Well, entertaining. Bad day of analysis.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So then they got Coward on the show, and he was able to clear some stuff up. But I don't know. I would have reservations too about the Bears if I was a stud prospect. They have not historically shown that they can develop a quarterback. But having said that, it's still a major market. It's one of the oldest teams. If you can win, you're going to be a legend. So. And Coward said that Williams wouldn't put up a fight if the Bears drafted him, that he would go to the Bears. So, but with Washington at number 2 being his
Yeah,
hometown,
he wasn't going to pull an Elway.
Right.
Yeah, so was it Wednesday or Thursday? And Thursday, Friday. It was like whatever the 2-day period was. He made the comments that Williams didn't want to go to Chicago, and then they had him on the next day. And I think it's interesting that people completely ignored, actually it's infuriating more than interesting, that he said, "I contend, and I think it's possible." Those were his initial couches, right? He couched the statements with those phrases. And everyone act like he was source reporting, which he wasn't. Kudos to him for backtracking, at least for the most part.
Yep.
And then the Williams family reached out and was like, "We don't want to be painted as anti-Chicago," which he admitted the next day. And then that same day, Parkins and Spiegel had him on, and that interview was excellent. It was very interesting. And he went over all the things about Williams the person, that's all being overstated. And that Radio Row, we got a lot of teammates of his talking him up, which is what athletes do. But it seems like all that's being overblown too. Like the whole, is he a bad apple kind of stuff? He's not. And then Coward had said, the money line was he wouldn't be like John Elway. He'd come to Chicago. And then Parkins had his brain back.
Have you lost your mind?
And was like, we know the history at the position stinks, but they had 7 wins. They don't have the pick because it's a 3-win roster. This is actually a good spot to go. And then there's the whole Cliff Kingsbury to the Commanders. Like, we have no idea if that's that big of a deal to Williams. And some people are acting like because of that, the Bears have to trade the pick. It's like, the Bears don't have to trade the pick. What are we talking about? Caleb Williams is not a free agent. Right. Unless he pitches a fit, it's not anything the Bears have to worry about. What the Commanders OC hire was. Like, it's just people are really having a hard time with some of this. Get off of Twitter. Go play with the dog outside. I don't know. Just calm down, everyone. It's going to be a bumpy couple months.
Yeah, and
I say that to myself as well.
Sure. Caleb Williams tweeted how he was happy for Kingsbury getting the job, and that was like, oh my gosh, he's going to try to go to Washington. And no, he was just happy for his coach, his former coach, right? Can't that be a possibility?
Yeah, just like a player would be happy when he gets drafted. That was on USC. I mean, and the guy's back in the NFL. You'd be happy for him. For that matter, he also has ties to the offense that they're running at UNC, where Drake May is, Mr. Other hotshot QB prospect, supposed to go after Williams. So like the Commanders are kind of covered either way if they really cared that much about the coach being connected to whichever QB they get. And I don't know the NFL teams even work that way. But again, the point for the Bears is do your stuff. You're in the driver's seat. The end. And I still think they're going to pick him. And then the DJ Moore thing, like DJ's a great teammate. He's not going to say anything unkind about Fields, his friend. He's a professional. He's going to be fine. He basically said, "I understand if they do move on from him, but I'd keep him." Okay, great. You're a good teammate. There's nothing to like read either way on that.
Yeah, of course, teammates are going to support their fellow teammates. I agree that's not to put too much stock into that. And also, they're professionals. Yeah, maybe they're going to be disappointed if Fields is gone, but they'll get over it. Especially if Williams turns out to be who a lot of people think he can be. But yeah.
Yep, you have to take that chance. All right, well, that's all I got. Maybe we should let your internet take a nap or whatever it needs to do.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck was going on. Usually it's much more reliable than the home internet, so I'll have lots of editing to do on this one. I'll make it work, though, I promise. It'll be lovely. So,
all right.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to Barely Educated. Congrats again to Devin, Hester, Steve, McMichael for getting their gold jackets. Oh, it's so exciting, especially when there's no Packers that made the Hall of Fame.
Go Pack, go the f*** home.
We will talk to you next time we got some stuff to report on. It's going to be the same Caleb Williams quarterback story for a while here, so we don't want to just be repeating ourselves for a few weeks. But anytime we got some Bears new stuff to talk about, we will be here for you. Check us out on our website, buymeacoffee.com/barely_educated. Shoot us an email, bearlyeducatedpod@gmail.com. We're on all the socials at @barely_educated. We will talk to you next time.
Shut up, Tim!
What?
You suck, Chris.
I love the Bears.